What are some of the main use cases you think that Box delivers the most value for people, just so they can conceptualize what you do a little bit better?
Yeah, so I'd say at a high level, like many of us in the industry have been going through the last, let's say, 10, 20 years, have really
Hmm.
seen data become a really critical aspect of almost every company. And so, and this is
Right.
typically the world of structured data. And so we have a number of technologies, a number of great things, including machine learning, that helps people use data more effectively, to the point now it's like woven in the fabric and the technologies and the great companies that provide this in the world. But then
Yeah.
unstructured data, like content, like Box has historically always been there. We help you sync your data, we help you collaborate, we help you view, secure, govern, add compliance for your data. But up until the advent of generative AI, we weren't able to actually fully automate and fully utilize unstructured data in the enterprise. And
Yeah.
it's kind of compared to structured data, it's like 90%. Unstructured data is 90% in volume of what people do. And so we
Right.
have over 120,000 enterprise customers. And typically, when we're talking about AI, one of the first things that they'll think about is how to start to automate some of the things that used to be unautomatable, like not possible to do because there was no technology that could do,
Right.
like, understand this video, understand this document, understand the nuances of the risk of this contract and everything else. And so this is the
Right.
kind of things for us that people are interested in from our customer set.
So do you feel like, and again, I could go on so many paths with you, which I'd love to. But with that in mind, what do you feel like when people come to you or companies come to you with an enterprise, what do you feel like are the common challenges that they're going through? Saying like, is it the lack of ability to integrate different data sources? Is it just security? Like, what is it you guys help them identify and then be able to execute on?
Yeah, so in general, for a lot of our customers who are, like, again, bigger organizations who are in the midst of trying to understand how AI can change the way that they work, because that's kind of some of the promise of what AI can do. Many
Right.
times they're trying to sort of balance this idea of getting started in sort of practical ways that have value with the sort of the pressure overall to, like, try to completely revolutionize everything that they're doing. And so
Mhm.
from our perspective, one of the things to do from AI, but also in general, is to make sure that you're focused on a couple of your platforms that then give you these capabilities to be able to do AI effectively across your enterprise. So we kind of see that there's like a number of data sources that many companies have, including things like your structured data, your unstructured data, your CRM, your
Right.
HR data, and so on. And then not only having those be able to have AI themselves and to do things like agentic AI and some of the newer promises of the way that you can automate more and more with this kind of newer generation technology, but then also be able to coordinate those with other tools out there. There's a number of sort of like layers of agents that, like, at a higher level, either enterprises build themselves or other third-party tools that can kind of like coordinate across all those. So most of the customers we talk to, they're in the middle of this journey of solidifying the basics, making sure it's secure, making sure that it's compliant, making sure they can do specific things, increase the productivity of
Right.
their users, and then also then try to automate some of the higher level enterprise processes.
Well, one of the things you brought in, if I remember correctly, is Box AI Studio, right? And part of it was to make sure you could help create agents across different workflows, different and use different models. Like there's a lot of cool things you do with the studio.
Yeah.
Um, it, I'd love to have you tell me more of your thought, obviously as a technologist expert. I feel like people talk about agents a lot, but what's being missed a lot is the importance of the data that agents need to really get good use out of AI power. So
Yeah.
tell me more about like how Box Studio or just your thinking in general of how do you identify what data is needed so you can really release agents or a fleet of
Yeah.
agents, whatever you want to call it, in the best way.
Yeah. So, in general, when we're talking about agents, we're often talking about the sort of the concept that AI can not only do something for you, but can do more and more complex tasks that have, like,
Yeah.
objective instructions, an AI model to power it, tools to go access different things. So from that concept of
Hmm.
an AI agent, one of the more critical things is that it can be able to access your data across the board, and they've been doing it in a secure way. Like, if you think about it, like, to the extent that agents can resemble sort of like the power of humans, imagine that
Right.
you get like the most intelligent employee in the world. They got 20 PhDs and they're very willing to work really
Right.
hard, and they show up in your company. And then if you don't give them access to what you have internally, like, your tools, your systems, what they work, they're just
Right.
not be as useful as they could have been otherwise. And so then naturally, then you're one of the goals is to hook up the AI agents to your data. But then if you do that in sort of if you're not careful, like, you have a giant problem, because, like, that's like
Right.
for most of your enterprise systems, like, not everybody has access to everything out there, right? Like the stuff that
Right.
any one person, any enterprise has access to is just different. Not only because you're on different teams and you have different roles, but also you have your stuff, you have stuff that was of a specific project, you have access to maybe something that's confidential about your manager, employees, or whatever else. And so you have to be able to hook into
Right.
the way these things work, and then in particular the access of the permissions and the user base access controls. And so those are the kind of things that you need to not only just have AI do stuff on, but also to make sure that your AI is not your number one challenge of data leakage and security issues. You need to actually securely do AI on top of your data. And that's often one of the key
Yeah.
things that either prevents customers from like starting the adoption, or actually is something that is like their biggest problem to solve to try to even begin to use some of this stuff. So at Box, one of our focuses
Right.
is to let people do secure AI on their content across not only the models that are trustworthy, but then also the ability to map directly to the user access controls.
So you feel like you're more of like an orchestrator kind of moving things, or is it more of just an integrator of making sure it connects different dots?
A little bit of both. Like
Yeah.
the idea of like one of the interesting things is when you're like thinking about AI, like, and then having access to like content, like you start to
Hmm.
see that the AI starts to have some of the challenges that like what people would have about like how do I give it access to the things I want? How can it like access
Right.
in the right format? Like how can I smoothly make sure that like new stuff it has access to or not? Like, and so you start to go down this path of like, well, I need to have retrieval augmented generation or secure retrieval augmented generation. I need to have the vector databases and store the embeddings and be able to look up info across a big corpus of data. Some of our customers will have like dozens or hundreds of petabytes of data, like in that we help store for
Right.
them. And like that's just not
Right.
a trivial thing to be like, oh, now have AI go do something with that, like, not only for the security reasons, but just practical infrastructure reasons. And so this is an area where like what we focus on is to bring AI to your content in a way that you don't have to worry about all that stuff. If you want the benefits of AI on unstructured content, which we think is one of the biggest benefits of in the enterprise, then you need a mechanism, a platform to be able to handle that.